Welcome. Let me get my notes up here. This is session 9 of a little series I started in January, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. I think we all want those three things. And tonight's topic is bite-sized goals. Before we dive in, let me know where you're listening from, and please share this video just share the video. And let's reach some more people because this is a tough one. So many people really struggle here, and we'll talk about it. But it really kind of robs you of the success that you're capable of, that you could have, because those goals are so daunting, scary, and we just don't know what to do with them sometimes. Incidentally, I have my live screen up here, so I'll be monitoring the comments and trying to answer those for you. Do stay tuned because I have an offer. I don't know, that sounds like as seen on TV, right? I would love to spend 30 minutes with you helping you kind of drill down on your goals and making them something that are fun sized for you. It's really hard to do in a group because we've got everything from hobbyists who are just here for the fun to people who want to make a little bit of money, $500 a month, $300 a month, to people who want to go all the way, right? Do the whole thing, shoot for the moon. And it's hard to put those examples in. So I'm using some very simple examples because also, math, not my strong suit, which is really funny. I do money, but not math. So I will walk through that, but stay tuned at the end. I'll tell you how. And if you do share this video, you could just win a really fun prize from me. So, all right. Goals can be so scary and so overwhelming. And I think this is one of the things that I spend the most time with people on is the goal setting piece of it, because it's so out of our comfort zone. I was reading an article, the majority of an article the other day, and it said something to the effect of school teaches us to be good employees, but nothing teaches us to be great entrepreneurs. Maybe except for a little bit of life experience, and certainly this industry, the direct selling industry, social selling, I think is what we're calling it these days. But I've been here for a minute. Entrepreneurship really teaches us it's completely different rules that we play by. So in school, you go to high school, grade school, high school, maybe you went to college or trade school or something like that. All the way through, what they were grooming you for, what they were teaching you how to do is get a job and keep a job, right? That was your goal: get a job and keep a job. That's it. Hope for a promotion, and it's very, very different here. So we have to learn new skill sets to become more, to have more, right? We have to become more, and we have to learn new skill sets. And for me, that's the greatest piece of the industry, is for me to have more, I get to become more. And that's not always true at your daytime job or a corporate job or whatever. Um, so I think it's huge and it's scary. And this is why 90% of people do not set goals. The top achievers normally set goals. I've met a few who are like, you know what, I'm just going to throw it out there and go for it and see what happens. But most of people who achieve great things, number one, don't think that they can, but they're willing to set the goals. They're willing to be scared a little bit. So the goals can be very overwhelming, and sometimes they feel too big. And I'll tell y'all, I started in this industry. I'm selling actually Christmas stuff, but skincare is really where I cut my teeth and made the biggest mark. I love skincare. Um, and I remember thinking, I could never do that. Like, I would love to earn 500 extra dollars a month. Oh my gosh, it just seems so big. When I was selling $50 a month or $100 a month or whatever. So it just seemed too big, and we can self-talk ourselves out of it. That self-talk piece, we did mindset last week. Oh my gosh, the things that you say to yourself. Incidentally, if you were on last week and listened to that call and applied it, which I hope you did, comment below. Tell me what your results were. None of this works unless you actually apply it to your life. So you can sit on all the training calls that you want, but until you're willing to take some action, even if it scares you a little bit, and we have all been scared. Most of us are scared every day, everything that we do. Nothing, it doesn't make a difference. So you're just kind of wasting time sitting on a call. I hope that what you hear, you take action on, and you'll see the results in your business. I promise you that you will. I've been here 30 years, and I have built businesses and I have helped people build businesses. So I know that this stuff works, but we can talk ourselves out of it sometimes. And a lot of the reason that we talk ourselves out of it is, I just want to be sure that y'all can hear me. Let's see. Somebody tell me, can you hear me? Facebook was being kind of funky a little bit. Um, a lot of the reason that we talk ourselves out of setting goals is this perception of failure, whatever that is. I, I don't even know where we learn this intrinsic fear of failure. There is no failure. We are always learning and growing and evolving and developing. Whether we hit a specific mark on a specific date, I'm thinking about a bowman for some odd reason, maybe because my last name is Archer. So an archer, when they get up there, nobody criticized my archer technique since that is it's my husband's last name. If they don't hit the bullseye, that wasn't a failure. They course correct. They take into consideration the wind and the sun and whatever else is going on, the humidity probably, and they course correct. And that really is what goal setting is. It is, I see the bullseye, I intend to hit the bullseye, I'm gonna let loose, see where it lands, and then maybe I'm gonna do a little bit of corrective action if it doesn't hit exactly where I want it to hit. So instead of doing that, because we don't want to miss the bullseye, because that would be super embarrassing, and none of us are equipped to deal with failure. Our entire scholastic experience, and teachers, I'm not talking bad about our school system. I don't even know what I would do with 28-year-olds. I'd probably jump out of the window. It has to function on law and order. It has to function on this is what you do and these are the rules and whatever. It doesn't teach us to take risks. It teaches us to be detail oriented, to be organized, and to be quiet, right? Those things don't really serve us as an entrepreneur. We need to be kind of, detail oriented for sure, certainly not quiet. And, in the school system, you don't want to get put on red, right? That's the worst thing that could happen to you is you get put on red. Out here in the entrepreneurial world, it's okay if you get put on red. It means you tried something new. Maybe it didn't work, but you learned from it. So instead of committing to goals and worrying about failing or getting fussed at, we say really fuzzy things. And I'm guilty, y'all. Raise your hand if you've ever said this stuff. I know that I have, so I'm speaking to you from my heart and my experience. I'm not preaching to you. I'm talking with you. We say things like, you know what? I'm just going to do my best and see what happens. And that'll be enough for me. Or we set really fuzzy objectives, like, I just want to be successful. But we don't drill down on what success is. And as I speak to people in coaching, in private coaching, is one of the first things we do is, what do you want? Because that's step one. And most people set very humble goals, and they're a little bit fuzzy. And so it's important that we drill down. What does success mean to you? And this can be really hard, as part of a company. So what you might want to say successful to me is XYZ feels so small, especially on some of the corporate calls. Any company is guilty of this. They put the pie in the sky people up there, and what they're trying to do is motivate people to go for that, go for gold. But it's so big sometimes. So we're afraid or ashamed almost to say, I just want to make $500. I just want to make $1,500. I remember a time in my life where I got up every morning and the first thing I thought before my feet hit the floor was, God, how am I going to make $600 this month? Because that's what our mortgage was. It's been a while, the last time you saw a $600 mortgage. But anyway, that was the first thing before my feet hit the floor was, Lord, how am I going to make $600 this month? To me, that was Mount Everest. That was $10,000 a month income, $250,000, whatever that pie in the sky is. That's $600 was do or die for me. No, well, that's hit me kind of emotionally. Um, anyway, so we set those fuzzy objectives instead of really naming it, and that fear of failure robs us of our true potential. Because for me, the greatest gift in this industry is realizing what your true potential is. I am so much more than I would have ever been if I had not found this industry. It put me in big rooms full of big people who thought big thoughts, bigger than I was ever taught to think, and it really changed the trajectory of my life. There, you know what? I'm so emotional about this flipping business, this industry, because it truly did change my life. I don't know where I would be or what I would be doing. I promise you that it wouldn't be fun, and I wouldn't have gotten to travel the world, and I wouldn't have thousands of friends across the country if I had never found it. So let's start off with breaking it down into fun, bite-sized, fun pieces. We're going to fun size it for you. And I think when we approach it in this way, that it isn't do or die, it isn't pass fail, and this is something else we learn in school. Whoops, everything is pass fail. There is no room for growth or learning, right? Learning comes from a book, and there's a right answer. And if you don't get that one, you're wrong. That's not how it works out here. There are 100 ways to get to where you're going. And I'm sure your company does it. They have different top leaders on to talk about how they got there. It's all a different story, it's all a different route. So that's the thing. You almost have to unlearn what you learned along the way. So, number one, pick an objective. Anything, large, small. I'm not going to goal set for you. Companies do this too. They have an objective, and they figure out what we need everyone to do to get to the objective. I'm not saying they don't love you and want great things for you, and they don't put great speakers in front of you, and they're not giving you the opportunity to grow. But they figure out what they need everyone to do. Leaders do it too. I've seen it. And then that's all they want to talk about. So if you're a leader listening, you you do well to let your people set their own goals and love them where they are, whatever that is. And we can get ahead of ourselves too in a leadership role. So you need to pick an objective for yourself, not something that your company is pushing or that your leader is talking about or whatever, something that really speaks to you, something that's big to you. And this is why I want to offer you an opportunity to just spend 30 minutes, you and me, because big is relative, right? It's so different. This is almost impossible to do in a group. So pick an objective. Tonight, before you go to sleep, write something down. There is power in your own penmanship, even if it's sloppy like mine, to write that down. I want to, whatever, if it's a level director for a lot of you guys is the level they talk about, or the first major level. I'm still looking to see if anybody can hear me. Let me know. Director, there's a trip, there's an incentive. This ring that I'm wearing on, yeah, oh yeah, well that comes up nice. That's the first major award I ever earned. A little Christmas story reference there for you. And it was huge. It was way out of what I thought that I could accomplish. Like I'd never earned anything sparkly at all. And, I thought, okay, there was a trip too. I didn't get the trip and I didn't get the matching earrings, but I got the ring, and it changed the course of my life because I reached for something that I didn't think that I could do. And I told other people about it and I declared it. And I would love to hear you on the thread here. Just say, what is something? I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you do it. You can PM me, you can text me, you can email me, however we're communicating. But what is that? Is it an incentive like this? Is it a trip? Is it I want to earn X amount of money? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to earn X amount of money, by the way. It's how we feed our kids and put roofs over our heads, right? There's nothing wrong with money. I will also say that so many women are so uncomfortable with selling, whatever we think that is. What we think it is used car salesman, is what we think it is, and pushy and overbearing, and it's not. Everyone sells something. If you work hourly at a job and you're like, Michelle Archer, I don't sell anything. I go in, I punch my clock, I get my check, and I go home. You sell your time and the value that you bring to the organization. And that's hard sometimes, guys. That's almost tougher than selling a physical product, but you absolutely sell something. That interview, you sell you. We are all selling us all of the time. So everybody sells something. Build a bridge and get over it. We have got to really move away from this negative connotation about selling. And we try and say it's sharing, and it really is. If you are with a product that you love, which I highly encourage you to be, I'm not sure how it works any other way if you're not sharing a product that you're absolutely in love with, because it gives you this passion around the product. But anyway, pick an objective, whatever that is, but something that means something to you. And some of us are achievement oriented, some of us are I don't want to say flattery, that's not the right word, but public recognition, right? Recognition oriented. That's why recognition is such a huge thing in our industry. So pick something. Nothing's too small, nothing's too big. It's just private between you and me. But let me know. Do pick, or I encourage you to pick something that stretches you just a little bit. So if you think, I want to make, I want to throw out something big now, okay? Because I'm going to use a $500 example here in a minute. I want to make $100,000 a year. That's kind of big, right? It's big to a lot of people. Maybe $150,000 a year, something that will stretch you. If you're making 50 can't be your goal because you've already done that. It needs to be 65. If you're selling 500, it needs to be 750 because we're growing, right? We're stepping up every time. That's the whole point of most of this for me, is the evolution of people. So pick something that'll stretch you. Just be brave and start somewhere. We can change it. We can adjust it. Like, this isn't carved in stone. It's not Moses coming down from the mountain with the tablets, right? Written in stone. And, even if it is written in stone can be broken. We can change the goal. We can change the time frame. So don't get so spun up in your head about all of that. Just pick something that your heart desires. So once we've figured out what we want, which is crucial, we can't get past that. So if you're not willing to name something that you want, just go binge watch something else right now, because there's nothing I can do for you. But once we pick what we want, something that we want, then we can really start planning. So what's required of that? And I'm going to use a $500 earnings example. This is a powerful statistic in our industry. $500 a month keeps most families out of hardship, foreclosure, like serious problems. And so this is a big one in the industry. It's not all of the industry. Some people need a six-figure income, want a six-figure income. I know I replaced a corporate position with this industry. So that's good too, but I don't want to be so in the rafters that we can't all relate to it. So tell me if that makes sense to you. I'm looking at the comments again. So what's required on that $500? What do I need to sell in order to earn? We'll keep it really simple. Team building is huge, and it really is where the long-term income and the stable income comes from. But again, I'm going to pick something super simple that everyone can relate to, which is why I'm offering to spend some time one-on-one, because your goals may be way bigger, or your goal might be, I've never sold $250 a month. Like, 500 blows my mind. That's okay, right? That's why I want to spend the time with you. So let's just say, because it's easy math, if I want to earn $500 a month, let's say you get a 50% commission. That's less and less common than it used to be, by the way. So you need to sell $1,000, right? It's good, easy math. We got to make it easy for me. So the third thing, number 3, is to break it down. What I see people do so often is they set a goal for a trip, an incentive, a title, whatever, and let's say they have 6 months, and boy, the last 4 days of that 6 months you work like a dog, don't you? Because we don't break it down and make it kind of time bound at all. So let's say in a month, if you want to sell $1,000, it's 10. You need $250 a week in sales, right? My math is right there. And let's say your average customer sale is $50. It's important that you know this stuff, by the way. Your company should be able to provide that for you. Sometimes they can't. Your leader can say, based on my experience and the leaders that I know, based on our team, the average customer sale is $50 or $40 or 75 or 100, whatever it is. But you need to know that, because if you don't have that detail, it's really hard to plan anything around that. You're just kind of like, closing your eyes and shooting the dart or the arrow. So let's just say the average customer spends $50 on an order with you. That is this $250. 5 times 5 is 25. It's 5 customer orders a week. That starts to be more approachable than how do I sell five or how do I sell $1,000? 5 new customers a week is all I need. That's one a day, not counting Saturday and Sunday. It's less than one a day, but it gives us something that we can focus on and brings that big goal down into something. My husband loves those little Snickers. They only have like an S or an N or whatever spells out Snickers, but they only have one letter. He loves those. And that's what we need to do, because it helps us breathe a little bit when we're focused on that little fun-sized Snicker. I can't believe I didn't grab a few. I missed total opportunity for a great prop. He's got a refrigerator drawer full of them. He loves them. So we've broken it down, and now we need to look at what are the activities. And this is something people act like it's a mystery, how you sell products. So we can spend some time on this one-on-one. Y'all can ask questions. I'm happy to come back to the thread and answer everything that I can. But what are the activities that sell product? And you have to ask yourself too, what am I willing to do? Some people are like, I'm unwilling to reach out to people. I'm unwilling to do vendor events, right? You're limiting your options. So again, it's how bad do you want it, and how fast do you want it, and how hard are you willing to work, and how much are you willing to step out of your comfort zone. But what are those activities? And here's a couple off the top of my head. Group selling, whether that's virtual or in person, I will tell you that anytime that you can get face to face with someone, they buy more, usually about double, depending on what the product is. That's huge. And you don't have to drive all over God's green earth doing home parties. Back in the day, I did about 7 a week, which is outrageous. When I think about it now, it's crazy because we're so social media dependent. So group selling we can do on social media. It is a lower yield, and there is an art to a good Facebook party, good social media party. That's something else we can come back and talk about. I can do a training on that too, because there's a lot that goes into it. You need to have an active, engaged audience. You need to have a great host. You need to have good posts. It needs to be mixed up. It no longer will static posts work. And that's been the case for about 3 years on Facebook, that trying to do a Facebook party, I hate that word, but anyway, everybody knows what it means. I feel like it's got a negative connotation, so something more fun than that. But anyway, a soiree, just posting. Facebook started gigging that years ago, and we are at the mercy of them on this platform. I mean, there's other platforms certainly that we can do things on. Anywho, group selling, live or virtual, one-on-one. And that can be you physically getting together face to face. You can Zoom with someone and show them things. There's a dozen different ways to do one-on-one selling. That's the highest ticket average, by the way. So one of the lowest is a virtual party. The second would be an in-person, but one-on-one people buy more because they have your time and attention. They're a little more bought in. It's a little more customized and personalized. And we'll be talking about how to use Zoom for this in a couple of sessions. But anyway, I've got a great speaker on that. And, Zoom's a great little tool in our arsenal. We're so social media stuck. The other thing is it social media? Do you want to post? Do you want to do reels? Do you want to do stories? There's great engagement there, but really more than a sales activity, posting on social media is a marketing activity. It's where you pique people's interest. It's where you introduce them to a product. It make them curious about it, hopefully curious enough that they'll ask questions. Now, if you're with, and I'd love for y'all to drop in the comments, who are you with? What company are you with? If you're with a really known company, Scentsy a great example. And someone posts, hey, I'm doing a Scentsy party, or got a Scentsy order going in. People know what that is, and they're thinking, oh, I need, like, spring's coming. I need spring wax. All I have is winter stuff right now. If you're not that well known, and most companies are not, it's not that easy, right? So we have to use a little mystique. And I could do a whole training on social media posts to pique people's curiosity. This will be coming. Stay tuned. Um, but we think of that, and almost we've been taught to think of that by a lot of experts out there selling classes, that posting on social media equals sales. It doesn't, it equals conversation. And from there, we have to have that one-on-one conversation. And they might buy if it's Cincy. I mean, I'm good for $35 anytime anybody's doing anything because I love the stuff. Pampered Chef, I'm down. If it's not one of those things, then we need to have like one-on-one conversation with the potential customer to educate them, to make recommendations. They have questions, particularly if it's a product they're not familiar with. It's a conversation piece. And so I think that's where a lot of people get frustrated is we think, okay, I'm posting, but I'm not selling. I'm bad at this, or this doesn't work, or I need to change companies or whatever we think. A lot of the time, we're just not looking at that posting piece correctly. We also need to have a good following that we've built trust with over the years. So it's not this instant go post on social media and sell $10,000 a month. It just doesn't work that way. Anybody who is selling huge off just posting and doing reels, they have a following that they have cultivated for years. I can teach you how to do that. You can do that. That will work. But it's one way to sell. It's not the only way to sell. There's vendor events. Reorders, I think we have always ignored because we think, oh, if they want any more, they'll call me. I don't want to bother them, right? So we don't reach out to them and say, hey, there's a sale or there's a new product or how are you loving XYZ? We don't ask for that feedback because we don't want to hear that they didn't like it. We don't want them to return it. You build your best, strongest customers when they're not happy with something. And you say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I love that one. Let me, or maybe I don't think I'd ever say I hadn't tried it. I make it a point to try everything with any company when I'm doing corporate work or whatever. The first thing I say is send me product. Um, but, I am so sorry that that one doesn't work for you, that you don't love it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what your other favorite thing ever was. Okay, great. Here's what I would recommend. Guys, if you don't know, reach up to your upline. That's what they're for. And say, okay, I have a customer. She bought, I'll use skincare because that's my jam. She bought this one eye cream and she feels like her concealer doesn't apply well over it. My first question is going to be, what concealer are you wearing, particularly if I also sell makeup, cosmetics. But anyway, so she feels like it's not applying very well. Always ask, what concealer are you using and what format is it? Is it a liquid? Is it a cream? Because it'll really help you if it's let's say it's something really creamy and she's applying it over a really really rich moisturizer, then it might not work well. If she's not using an eye cream, if she's using an eye serum which penetrates deeper and doesn't sit on the surface, it may not be applying well for her. So this is your opportunity to problem solve. And when you listen to people and problem solve for them, they're yours for as long as you're selling that product, and probably for whatever product you go to next, because you built a trust factor with them. You were willing to hear that they weren't happy about it, and you cared when they weren't happy because you wanted them to be happy. So there's some ways to sell. If you can think of another one, drop in the comments for me. Let me know. Number 5, tip 5 is, what's the return? The ROI, return on investment here. As you're picking through these things, it's important that you have a reasonable expectation of what success, of the return that you're going to get. If you want to sell $10,000 a month and all you want to do is post on social media, and you don't ever want to have to hear no, and you don't ever want to have to reach out to anyone, and you don't ever want to have to deal with an unhappy customer, it's probably not a reasonable expectation. And that's where people get frustrated, is I'm posting, it's not happening. What's the return on investment? If you're just posting, what's the quality of the post? Right now, video's king. It has been for three years, hardcore 3 years. 5 years, really, video has been king. So if you're unwilling to do videos, reels, lives, stories, whatever, it might be a little bit harder. So we need to take your strategy into account with the goal that you want to reach. And I hope that makes sense. So y'all, let me know. Keep checking over here to see, because I want to make sure that this is resonating with y'all. And I want to deliver good news, but I want to deliver real news. Like, I want you to know that you can always trust me, and I'm not going to blow smoke because I want to help you be successful. And I don't want you to be frustrated that you're not getting results and you're doing, whatever whoever's saying, like whatever the trends are or whatever, reels and trending audio and all that stuff. Sometimes people want to hear your voice, particularly in sales. Like, you can entertain them with someone else's voice. I love those. I mean, I can get lost in a TikTok reel hole, but if I'm really looking for a product, I want to hear somebody speak on that, about what, even if it is just, here's what I love about it, and here's what I noticed, and here's what my favorites are. Whatever you're doing, I encourage you on Fridays to do your Fab Five, whatever that is. Here's my favorite five. Friday, drive at five, right? So knowing what the return on investment is crucial to achieving the goals. Because if we don't know that, again, we have no idea of how really to reach the objective. So what's the average group sell, the average party in your company, virtually and in person? Because we can't plan if you don't know that. And again, your company may not put it out. They might. Your leader can speak from her or his experience on what the averages are. How many of an average, how many do you need to do in a week for 5 orders? A really good Facebook party easily can generate 5 orders. A face to face, I mean, 75% of people buy face to face. Social media, Facebook's a little sketchier because you don't even really know who is watching it. And I'll do another training on how to really up that, like using Messenger, text, communicating with them off and on line is crucial, because you have no control over who sees that, even when they click yes, I want to be in that group. We've talked about groups in this series already. They are really bizarre at this moment, and I'm not even sure what Facebook's plans for groups are after this. And then over on Insta, we don't really have groups. So that it's harder to kind of gather those people around and share product with them. But anyway, what's the average party? How many do I need to do for 5 orders? One good Facebook, two mediocre Facebook. I mean, and so many of those close with no orders at all. But that's a hostess that's not engaged as well. So don't beat yourself up too bad. You're fighting how engaged is your hostess, and you're fighting the social media giants that decide what everybody gets to see. What's the buy rate when getting together one-on-one? I said about 75% of people, if you get face-to-face with them, they buy, and it's a higher ticket average, generally double what they'll buy in a face-to-face home party. And good Lord knows it's 4 times what they'll buy in a Facebook, because they haven't touched the product. It's not tactile to them. They're kind of like taking a stab at it. They're testing it out, and if they like it, they'll come back, which is why the reorder thing is so important. If someone buys $15 from you, that is great. Next time they'll buy 30 or 50. Go back and revisit it with them. When it comes to social media, posting and praying, I often say it really is kind of post and pray. What's the conversion of social media posts? For every post you make, how many comments do you get and likes? And when we're posting on social media about things, reels, stories, whatever it is, whoever comments or even emoji, like likes it, loves it, whatever, I'm going to go back to them and say, thank you so much for your like on my post or whatever. Let's do food now, because I love that too. Have you ever tried Pampered Chef? It's a good one. Everybody's familiar with it. Have you ever tried Pampered Chef? Do you own any Pampered Chef? Right? It is starting a conversation, and this really, sales is a very personal thing, and that conversation piece is hugely important. If they liked it, they probably have, or maybe they're just trying to support you. And if they say no, I never have, I was, just trying to support you. Oh, thank you so much. Tell me, what kind of cookware do you use? Do you normally, how many nights a week do you cook at home? How many nights do you eat out? What's the biggest ordeal about dinner. It's figuring out what the heck is for dinner, right? For the rest of your life. That's adulthood. That's a whole nother topic. But anyway, knowing these conversion rates so that you can understand how active that you need to be. I would also encourage you, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You really need a kind of a diversified approach to get good results, more than just posting online, particularly, or posting on social media, particularly as it becomes just weirder and weirder and weirder and so pay to play. And most of you guys cannot boost or post at all. You can go back and review other ones. I won't get back into social media topics because we've already done that. Number 6 is support your goals in your daily agenda. Many of us say, I don't want a schedule. That's why I want to be an entrepreneur and work from home, is I don't want to be tied to a schedule. But what you do daily determines your success level. Often, as I said earlier, we try and cram it all in at the last minute. And many of us tell ourselves, oh, I work best under pressure. Really, no one does. It's that you're out of time and your adrenaline and anxiety kicks in. And so you get a lot accomplished, right? It's like the day before vacation. You clean the house, you do all the laundry, you do all the crazy things. You're exhausted. You arrive on vacation, like all you want to do is lay in the bed or, at the beach chair because you can't move. But no one really works best that way. It is stressful and it's self-sabotaging. So imagine just for a second that you get up on the first of every month and you have this metered thing that I need 5 client orders this month, 3 orders are new. And I work that way all month long. When I front load and kickstart my month, instead of selling $1,000 because I'm working steadily throughout the month, I can sell $1,500 or $2,000. When I do that to myself and I try and get $1,000 in the last 3 days of the month, I'm going to fall short and I'm going to be frustrated and I'm going to feel like a failure. Not because I couldn't do it, but because I didn't allow myself enough time to do it. And I didn't strategize and work steadily throughout the month. We can have a conversation because I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, no, I work best that way. No, you're really effective that way because you're out of time. But anyway, we can talk about it. I'm willing to be wrong. And here's something that I have learned through, and this Healthy, Wealthy, Wise series is all about health, wealth, and wisdom. And one of the things that I have done over the last 2 years probably is yoga. And one of the things that yoga has taught me that I have learned is the body and the mind and the spirit likes a schedule. It makes sense, right? We get up every day and we have something to focus on. We have tasks at hand. Often when we don't have any kind of schedule at all, we end up a little couch potato-y, right? And we don't get things done. And then at the end of the day, we're like, well, I didn't get anything done today. Well, how the heck could you have gotten anything done? You didn't have any targets. And it can be loose. It can be, I post once a day on social media, go for a 15-minute walk, set some hours for yourself. I know when I was first getting started in the direct selling industry, I worked a full-time job, of course, and I got home at about 5:30 or 6. 7 to 8 o'clock is a great time to reach out to people. They're making dinner or sometimes they're having dinner. I never wanted to bother anybody. But from 7 to 8 o'clock, I would make actual phone calls. It's a trip. Like nobody talks on the phone anymore. Yet every time I've been out anywhere publicly for the last 2 weeks, someone is loudly screaming into their cell phone to someone. I'm like, y'all don't have text? But anyway, I think it's making a comeback. But from 7 to 8 or 7 to 7:30, it doesn't have to be a whole hour. 15 minutes a day will change your life. But from 7 to 7:30, I reached out, phoned people who had expressed interest, people who had questions, people who I met out and about, reorder customers, whatever it was. That was my 30 minutes. My husband knew that. We lived in a townhouse on a military post. Everyone else is out in the front yard, gathering and maybe drinking a beer and rehashing the day. Where's Michelle? 7:15. She's doing her, 30 minutes. That schedule really kept me grounded and on track. And it was unbelievable what I was able to accomplish just using that 30 minutes a day, religiously, Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, really. Friday's hard to catch people. But anyway, your body likes a schedule. Your mind likes a schedule. and your business likes a schedule. It needs one. I mean, imagine if you ran a business where you were like, okay, everybody just show up whenever you want to, go home whenever you want to, eat lunch whenever you want to, right? Nothing would ever get done. It's the same thing with your business. So set some kind of schedule. And that could be as simple as, I want to reach out to one new person a day or reach out to one friend a day. Particularly if you're doing good quality social media posts, people say, where do I get clients? Where do I find them, right? They're the ones commenting on what you're saying. So go and have that conversation with them. And number 7 is give yourself a little grace. You're growing and you're learning and you're evolving in your skill set. I think of toddlers. How many times do they try and walk and fall down? 1,000? I don't even know. There's probably a statistic out there somewhere. But give yourself a little grace on it. Look at how far you've come and what you were what you were able to achieve, instead of like, I didn't hit the $1,000 mark. I only sold 650. Well, let's do a ticker tape parade. I didn't get to director this month. But last month my team did $20,000 and this month my team did $27,000, right? You're building up to that level, and it takes a little bit of time, and sometimes we've got to adjust the time frame, and that's okay. All right. So, thanks for joining me. Comment below for the call with me, the free call, where we're just going to talk about what your goals are, and I'm going to try and help you distill those down because I know it can be overwhelming. Just comment, and then I will reach back out to you, and we'll see when it's good. I'll have a little calendar. You can pick something. We'll do it by the phone, over the phone, and hopefully I can help you demystify, I guess, the process and take some of the fear out of it. The goal setting helps you grow, it helps you evolve, it helps you become. And again, that's the greatest piece of the industry for me, is what you become along the way. All right, I'm going to check any comments here before I wrap up, but I will watch the comments and answer those as time goes by. All right, guys, well, it has been fun. We've got 3 more sessions to come. One will be Zoom, and I've got some stress management things too, because good night, stress is through the roof, is it not? All right, y'all have a lovely, lovely Tuesday. Be sure and comment, share the video. Maybe it could help somebody. Maybe it could help someone on your team. All right, good night.